Welcome to the fastest daf in town, Tanel Masechtas Kiddushin daf Ayin Beis. We're going to begin on Ayin Beis with Aleph, 4 lines from the top. Amra Papa, K'machlokas le'yochsin, kach machlokas le'inin gittin. So just like there is a machlokas, as we saw in yesterday's daf, exactly what is the length and the width, the boundaries of Bavel, because when it came to Yichus, Bavel had the greatest levels of yichus. So just like there was a machlokas in those boundaries, so too when it comes to gittin. What does it matter when you give a get? You give a get. So Rashi reminds us at the very beginning of Masechtas Gittin, the Kaimalon hamevi get mishar ratzos. If you bring a get from another place, another country, so if you give a get somewhere in Nebraska, somewhere in New Jersey, you have to say b'fana nechtam because we're not experts in Lishma. The get has to be written for her sake. However, maybe get Me'eretz Yisrael or Bavel. If you ready get from Israel to Bavel, Eino Sarach Loimer, you don't have to say. Bavel harihi Eretz Yisrael gittin. Bavel is like Eretz Yisrael when it comes to gittin. Shavheim hayuchachamim bebikim Lishma, because they're also experts in the dinim of Lishma, Eretz Yisrael and Bavel. So the question is, how about the border for that? So we said it's the same machlokas. There's no difference, because if you are near Bavel, but you're not in Bavel, you're not in Bavel, and therefore you would have to say b'fana nechtam. Okay. Rabbi Yosef Omer machlokas liyuchsin. No, the whole machlokas is only there. Avol gittin divriyakol ad arva tinyana de gishra, until the second swamp of reeds. I guess they knew where that was. Omer Rami Barabba, Chavil Yama, which is the name of a place, Tekelta de Bavel. That's considered to be like the splendor of Bavel regarding Yuchsin. Shunya Viguvia, these locations are Tekelta de Chavil, de Chavil Yama. These are like the best places of the splendor of Chavel Yama. So those locations inside are even greater. Ravina Omer Af Sisayra. Sisayra is also included in being the splendor as far as great yichus. Tani Mihachi. Chanan ben Pinchas Omer Chavel Yama Techelta de Bavel. Again, that this place, Chavel Yama, is like the glory of Bavel. And Shunya Viguvia, and here it's included, this third city of Sisayra Techilta, is the glory of the Chavel Yama. Amra Papa. But in nowadays, Iarve Bahu Kutoi, they all got mixed up. The Kutoyim. Velohi. It's certainly not true that the Kutim got all mixed up into these cities, and therefore we don't know their status. There was just one incident of a woman that wished to be in a relationship, and she wasn't allowed. Says Rashi, Kusim lo nisarbim. It's not true. It's not true that all the Kutim were mixed into this city. Shishol kuti echad ishimehem. There's one girl, avalheim lo nasnulo, but they actually didn't allow her to marry into this city. V'yesh omer rapapa ba minayu is zavoyayvle lokachayim moitzalehem shemes psul v'kash ve'enai lomerkain. Some say it was Rapapa himself that was involved in this. It's hard to say that that's what it's talking about. Okay. My Chavil Yama. So we're saying this is a place. What exactly is that? Papa Zupras de Borsi. So again, this is this location. The who garbed Yarmil ana min shoit me shoit. A person said, I am from such a location. Amr Rav Yitzchak Nafgal Raglav Yarmer shoit me shoit. That location is Bein HaNaharos Oimedes. Is between the rivers. Is that true? My Havel. What is he saying? So Amar Rabbi, Amar Rav Chama Bar Ukva, Amar Rav Yosef, Rabbi Chanina, Bein HaNaharos Harahi Kagayel Yuchsin. It's referring to that it's considered to be goyla regarding yochsin. Rashi says goyla is pumbedisa. It's called goyla, as is brought down in Masechtas Rosh Hashanah, that's another name for pumbedisa. Veheicha kaima. So where was this exactly? So Rabbi Yochanan meihi dekira, which is a place by Nahar Pras, Ula'el, and further up. Avaham Rabbi Yochanan ad Mabarta de Gizma. I was told that it's even further up than this. So Mabaya Ritzua Nafka is also Gemara Gittins uses that exact same language regarding something else. Well, also a piece of property, a piece of land, that there was a Ritzua Nafka, there was a strip of land that connected them. Says Rashi, Be'alkasain, like in a diagonal, Mimaravta de Gadma, Umakefes es Psulim, and it was surrounded by Psulim, Ad Mala, Mi'ihi de Kira, Shahayim and Psulim, Vishen Mishud, Befi Haritzua al Pras. So it was like connected to this strip of land. Amrav Ika Bar Avin Amrav Chananel Amrav Chalzoin Ni Hamd Hari he could go Yochsin. So this location Chalzoin Rashi is a nahar, this river is considered to be again like Pumbedisa and Yochsin. Amle Abaya lo Tisaisule. Don't listen to him. Yavama he denafule hasam. There was a Yavama that fell into this location. In other words, this is the reason why he was speaking highly about this, because of this Yavam. Normally, atu what did he? Rav Chananel. This is not my thought. This is Rav Chananel. Azul shaluha the Rav Chananel. So they asked Rav Chananel if he actually said this. So Amlahu hachiyam Rav Chalzain nihamd hari he could go yochsan. Who played Rav Abba Bar Kahana? The Rav Abba Bar Kahana. The pasuk says v'nachim bachlach uvach vor nahar goizan. The Ari Madai, these are all different places. So Chalach Zu Chalzain. We see that this place, Chalzain, which we're talking about, is mentioned in this pasuk. Chavor Zu Hadyav, Nahar Goizan Zu Ginzak. Ari Madai Zu Chamadan, the Chaberseha. The Armel, some say, is Zu Nevhan the Chaberseha. So my Chaberseha, what I mean, and it's like friends, it's neighbors. Ramishmul Krach Mushchi. You're going to focus on that word also, that place. The village of Mushchi, Chuske v'Rumke. Rav Yochanan v'Kulam Sul. So we see that it says they're all puzzle. So which means in this category of Chalach Zu Chal Zayin, we see clearly that this place is a psul. It's not good yichus. So Kasagadaitan Mushche Hainu Mushchini. So we also wanted to say Mushchi and Mushchini are the same thing. We say that Mushchini is good yichus. Mushchi obviously is not. Ella Mushchi l'chud and Mushchini l'chud. Obviously they're two different places. Utlos ilin bapuma ben shinai. And there was 3 ribs between my teeth. Rav Yochanan zu chalzayin. Hadayiv and Netzivin. These are these 3 places. Shapamim bolatan. Sometimes it's swallowed up. We rule over it. Upamim polatan. And sometimes it spits out, which means that they rule over us. And then the pasuk says, Va'aru cheva achari tanyana damai ladoiv. That behold, there was this other second animal which was comparable to a bear. Rav Yosef el Parsim, these are the Persians, Shaicha v'Shaisim Kedaiv, they eat and drink like bears. Umisurbalin Kedaiv, they're thick like bears. Umigadlin Ser Kedaiv, they have very hairy. They don't have Menucha Kedaiv, they don't have rest. Rav Amiki Havi Chazi Parsa, when he would see one of these people, the Rachiv riding Amar Hainu Duva Naidi. Look, a riding bear. Armule Rebbe Levi Hareini Parsiim. Behold, show me and provide like a mushal to the Parsiim. Armule Damin LaChayolei Shel Beis David. They're comparable to the Chayolei Shel Beis David, to the army of Beis David. Why? Rashi says Giborim, because they're very strong. Hareini Chavarin, Daimin L'Malchi Chavala. If the Chavarin, with Uma Smuchla Parsim, they're next to the Persians, Mashchisim, they're destructive people, so they're considered just like Malchi Chavala, these angels of destruction. Hareini Yishmaelim, show me Yishmaelim, Daimin L'Seirim Shel Beis HaKisei. They're like the Seirim, which Malvushim Shchayim Adaim L'Shedim. They wear black and they look like demons. Hareini Talmid Chachamim Shebabavel Daim L'Malchi Asharis. The Talmid Chacham looks like a Malchi Asharis. Why? Levushim Levanim, because they wear white. Interesting. A Talmid Chacham doesn't wear black. A Talmid Chacham wears white. Ki havin nicha nafshi the Rebbe. When the Rebbe died, Omer Hamanya Ika Babavel. When he was dying, he said, Homanya Ika Babavel. Homanya, says Rashi, Nizrukah Nevuah Bapumi. He had this Nevuah, that this is a city, that this is its name. Rashi says, Ir Sheshma Kach. Kula Amoinoihi. They're all Amoinim, which obviously is a problem because a Jewish woman is not allowed to marry a Amoini. Masgaria Ika Babavel, Kula de Mamzerahi. That city, they're all Mamzerim. Birka Ika Babavel, Shnei Achim Yesh, there's two brothers. Shemachlif and Nishoisem Zelazeh, they switched their wives. Birta de Satya Ika Babavel, another place. Hayom Sar Miachri Hamakim, they went against Hashem. The Akpe Pera de Kavri B'Shabbata, and they allowed fish in a pond to overflow on Shabbos. Which means they trapped and gathered up fish on Shabbos. They also v'tzadabahu b'Shabbatot. They went and they captured them. V'shamtinhu Rav Acha b'Rebbe Yoshia b'Shtamud. So what he did was he put him into cherem for having done that. Akra de Agma Ika Babavel. Ada Barava Yeshba. So in this place, Akra de Agma in Bavel, Ada Barava Yeshba. There's Ada Barava who is there. As we continue, Ayin Beis and the Beis. Hayom Yoshe b'Cheiko Shel Avraham. Today he's sitting in the lap of Avraham. So Rashi says, Yesh Omer Meis Hayom. He died today. Rashi also says, "V'nira deha Yoshe b'Cheiko Shel Avraham Avinu shenichnas a bris milah." It means actually he was just born. Basically, he's having a bris today. Hayom nolad Rav Yehuda b'Bavel. Today, Rav Yehuda was going to be born in Bavel. The Yomer Rav Kishmeis Rabbi Kiva. When Rabbi Kiva died, nolad Rabbi. Kishmeis Rabbi nolad Rabbi Yehuda. When Rabbi died, Rabbi Yehuda was born. Kishmeis Rabbi Yehuda nolad Rava. And when Rabbi Yehuda died, Rav was born. Kishmeis Rava nolad Rav Ashi. And when Rava died, Rav Ashi was born. L'madcha, to tell you, she'in sadik nifta min oilam ad she'nivrat sadik k'moisei. She'nem b'zarach hashemesh v'lo hashemesh. That as the sun goes and comes, so too, even when a tzaddik dies, there will be someone else to replace him. Ad shel kavsa shimsha shel Eli. We learn out from this pasuk that before Eli died, zarcha shimsha shel Shmuel haramasi. Now, of course, Shmuel was alive while Eli was alive, but he was just starting out in his shimush as who he was. And Shmuel was lying down, and that's where he actually had his first nevuah. Which he kept waking him up and saying, "Did you hear the nevuah?" And he kept saying, "No, I don't hear it." And he finally realized it was a nevuah. Siva Hashem Yaakov, Savivav Tsarov, those around him. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Kagayin Hamanya Lefum Nahara. It's including these places. Says Rashi, Sarim Shal Yisayim Moyisel Ba'artzam Dahainu Amunu Moyav. Then the pasuk says in Yecheskel, Vayhi Kihi Navi Uplatiyahu ben Binyahu, which we're going to focus on his name, Mace. He died. Ve'epol al Panai. They fell on his face. Ve'ezah kol gadol. And they cried out. The Omer said, Hashem Elokim, woe to God. Rabbi Shmuel Chada Omer Lotayva Chada Omer Ra. One says it was a good thing, one's bad. Mandi Omer Lotayva Kiha, just like the following. This Tandra the Meishon Chasne de Nebuchadnezzar Havi, that this person in Meishon was the son-in-law of Nebuchadnezzar. Shalchle Makule Hai Shivya. They went to all of these captives. The Asislach L'Shadruslon de Koi L'Kamon. And basically what they did was they sent the Jews to Meishon. Boilish Durile Misrael or Malay Platiyahu ben Yahu. Again, this is the name that we quote over here in the pasuk in Yecheskel. Anan dechashevinon neku mikamach. Though we who are chashiv will be before you. Hacha here. Ba'abdin nezel hasam. And our slaves, we should go serve you here, and then our slaves will go to Meishon. Yermin Navi mi she'asa taiva b'Yisrael yamas b'chatzi yamav. The fact that what he did was a good thing, that he, and therefore they're lamenting over the fact that he sent, like the psulim, if you will, to Meishon, which is again was a place which is mamzerim, and everyone else should not. So therefore he spared the Jewish people. So Mandir Milarod V'Tavi Oisiel Shar Beis Hashem Hakadmoini, so that he went to the gate in the east. Hapoina Kadima. V'hini b'Pesach Hashar Esrim v'Chamisha Ish. There was 25 men. The Arab Soichemes, and they saw Es Yazna ben Azur, the Es Platiyahu ben Yahu. Again, this person's name. Saria Uksiv Yavi Oise El Chatzer Beis Hashem Apanimus, that they were in this inner courtyard. Vihini Pesach Heichal Hashem Beis Ha'ula. There was the Pesach Heichal Hashem was Bein Ha'ulam and Bein HaMizbeach. Was Ke'esav V'Chamish Ish. Again, these 25 people, and then this is the pasuk that we're going to focus on. Achoreihem El Heichal Hashem V'Paneim Kedma. Their backs were toward the Heichal Hashem, and their faces were in the east. So Memashmish Nemer Paneim Kedma. So Eni Yodeh Shachoreim Klapi Marav. Obviously, the base of Mikdash, the Kodesh HaKadoshim, are going the west. So I've been saying that they were facing east. Obviously, their backsides were toward the west. So it's obvious. We know if you're facing east, it means your back is in west. Mafriyan Atzman, they would relieve themselves. Umasrizin Atzman Klapi Maila. The Karman Navi Misha Sahara Hazais Beisol Yomus Al Mitasai. Let him die on his bed. So either he did something good, or maybe he did something bad. The bad thing is pretty clear. It's also brought down in the end of Masechta Sukkah, this story. Again, that he was mavaz the Beis HaMikdash by relieving himself in that area. Alternatively, again, that maybe l'taiva about what happened by sending the Avadim to Meishon. Okay. To Stayim de Shmuel Yamar Ra. Probably Shmuel's what he says was the bad. The Yomi Rabbi Chiya bar Rabbi Amar Shmuel Mushchini Harhi Kegoylo Yochsen. Meishon, the city Meishon, lo chashula lo mishum avdos lo mishum amzerus. It says there's no concern of avdos. El kohanim shahayu ba lo hikpidu al hagrushais. The problem was that kohanim used to marry divorced women there, which means they were chalalim. But there was no avadim. Now, if he's saying there's no avadim, then we just say that this man Platiyahu ben Yahu, that he convinced that Nebuchadnezzar, basically, that he should go and leave, basically send the Jews. They wanted to send the Jews to Meishon, and instead he said, no, we should serve you here and let the slaves go to Meishon. But obviously, if there's no slaves in Meishon, then he doesn't support this idea, because it says lo mishum avdos. No lo memlach Shmuel Omer l'taiba. Shmuel l'tamei diamer hamafker avdi yotzel cheros vein tzarach get shechor shnemar kol eved ish miknas kasef. So eved ish will eved isha. Only a man and not a woman. You can purchase an eved or an amavriya or shechananis with money. El eved sheish lo rishus lo rabo love kari eved. Eved shein lo rabo rishus lo love in kari eved. You're only called an eved if you have a master. So once he was gone free, that's it. So therefore, even though it's true that they were sent to Meishon, they are no longer avadim. So, but they really were avadim, but they were brought to Meshon, and then once they were there, they're no longer considered to be avadim. Okay. Let's hold off for 1 second. Let's maybe see a question now. Well, my hilchasa, question 1, Sainu b'gemara ad heichen gvulos Bavel. Why did we want to know what the boundaries of Bavel were? So, one we said was because of Yichus, and the second one is because of Gerim. Elu psulim yitaru asad lavo. Okay, we didn't do that yet. Okay, great. So let's continue then. Everything we've been saying is Rameir, says Rashi. Masnisa dichtani the old psum Eretz Yisrael. The old psum went from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael. Umashman ein kol ratzos becheschas miyuchasos chutz me Bavel bavad. That only Bavel has the best yichus. According to the Chachamim, they say no, all lands we can assume a person is kosher. That we find a Meimer allowed Rav Huna bar Nasan to marry a woman from this particular location, says Rashi, even though this was not part of the boundaries of Bavel, it was still okay, because we assume the cheskes kashrus heim oimdois. Normally, Ravashi, my daitach. What is your thought process? That's why it was allowed. Rav kahana he didn't learn that. Rav papa he didn't learn that. Rav zvid he didn't learn that. Still, he wasn't makabel because he heard this from Rav Zvid from Narda. Okay. Says Rashi, Lav Hainu Rav Zvid Stama. Tanroban. Mamzeri Unasini Taharin Lasad Lavo. This is going to be question 2. El Psulin Yitaru Lasad Lavo Lachad Man Deimer. So the Mamzerim and also the Sinim, which were the Gavainim, will be pure in the future. Okay, so this is Divrei Rav Yosi, according to one man, Rav Yosi. Rameir Oimer ain't Taharin. No, they're not going to become pure. So Amar Rav Yosi. So Rav Yosi says, what do you mean? I'll show you they will become tahar. But look for Nemor, the pasuk in Cheskel says, that they're going to become purified. Amar Rameir Kashu Oimer Mikol Tmosechem Mikol Gilechem. It just means they'll be purified from their idol worship. But it doesn't mean from being a mamzer. Once you're a mamzer, you're a mamzer. That's not going to change. So I hold that word atar eschem means even from a mamzer. I can understand Rav Meir who says that they're not going to change. They'll still be mamzerim. The pasuk says v'yoshev mamzer, ba'ashdod, that there was a mamzer in Ashdod, which was separate from the rest of the Jewish people. El Rav Yosef, my v'yoshev mamzer ba'ashdod. K'matargim Rav Yosef, yitboin bas Yisrael l'ruchtzon bi'arahoin dehavi damu ba l'nuchroyin. So no, it's not referring to mamzerim. Rather to the Bnei Yisrael in general, who were like mamzerim, in that they were separated, but later they will become united. Amar Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, halacha Rabbi Yosi. Halacha takas like Rabbi Yosi, that they actually will become pure. Amar Rabbi Yosef, Ilav Amar Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, halacha Rabbi Yosi. He didn't say that. Have Asi Eliyahu. Eliyahu would come. Mapik minan savrane kolorin. He would have to remove from us many groups of people in chains. Savarani Rashi says chaburois. In other words, there's plenty of mamzerim. So thank goodness this is the halacha, because otherwise there would be a lot of people that would be in trouble. Tanobanan. Ger noisim mamzeres. Rav Yosi. Rav Yosi says a convert is allowed to marry a mamzeres. A man who's a convert could marry a mamzeres. Why? Says Rashi. Diksavar kahal gerim loikri kahal. Because even though you convert, it's not the same thing as kahal, and therefore, v'havlad mamzer, the child will be a mamzer, dechsiv loy halachachar psuloi. So because a ger is kal ger moikri kahal, so therefore he can marry a mamzeres. Rabbi Yehuda Eimer ger lis a mamzeres. So on this, Rabbi Yehuda says no, a ger cannot marry mamzeres. But again, that's actually a nice thing, because what he's saying is that kahal gerim is actually ikri kahal, and therefore they can't marry mamzeres because they're really mutter to come kal Hashem. Echad ger, echad eved meshuchor v'cholol mutar bekohenes. However, when dealing with a ger or a freed eved or a cholol can marry a kohenes woman. My time, Rabbi Yosi, chamish kahalik sibi. It says the word kahal in five different places, and Rashi quotes them, and it says v'kahal degabi petzuadaka u'yichashiv the lab min absum yuchim kom mishtoi. So even though maybe it says kahal in another place, that's not going to be included in the five. So it says five. As we continue to Ayin Gimel Amud Aleph, Chad l'kohanim, v'chad l'levim, v'chad l'Yisraelim. Chad l'mishri mamzer b'shtuki, v'chad l'mishri shtuki b'Yisrael. Fine. Right. Actually, we're going to stop by the Tanur Rabbanon, and we'll see this piece tomorrow's daf, because this is just going to continue. So I'd rather stop here. But let's see, maybe we have another question. TA9. Madula maskan l'chosh shmul l'meichash mishum abdos inema davadim nishtalchu l'sham. So he said, the Sfirle hamafkir abda yotzal cheres into keshecher v'kan kishig gozvoim mehabalim haranis yayish mehem. So when they were taken from the balim, so they were miyayish. I got that question completely wrong, but that is the correct answer. So let's find this. TA 9. It's Shmuel Oimer Latayva Shmuel Tamed Oimer Shmuel Tamed Oimer Hamafkir Avdo Yotzal Cheres Ein Sarf Get Shechor. Okay, that's TA 9, and let's see, maybe TB 10. Ekra de Agma Ika Babavel Adabarava Yeshba Hayoim Yosh Bechikol Shel Avraham Ma Pirish Yosh Bechikol Shel Avraham. That is a hard question. So Rashi again says either here it's Yom Misa, or it's the day of his bris milah, TB10, which is on Ayin Beis Amud Beis. Adkan.